welcome to round 9 of the championship of VWVRC. It starts right now as they get themselves going off. It's a pretty good start there from the dirty side of the track. The old number club. There is Garvin Loder getting a good one kicked off the front on pole position. Everyone will be now charging through, trying to find those places. Now Nick Kumar already dropping down now into second position. Ladia immediately trying to challenge as well. Now Loder under pressure. Here we go on the brakes into turn 4 for the very first time. And that is straight down the inside to big one up. That is wonderfully done. Garvin Loder drops down into second. There's Bill Sadler already up into 5th place at this stage. We charge on through to this next section of the road, and everybody trying to get themselves away on through.
Bunjal Sabla moves into position number 5, but I was pretty surprised with Aurora because jumping over 2 positions on that couple of cars just going on the track between turn number 4 and turn number 5. But then it is going to be a charge up for them. But where is Steve Smart on the track? To make some amendment as well. Steve Smart moves up to position number 8 as Navneet Kumar drops down to position number 9. Brayton Sunderwell, number 2 now.
Yes, but they're 3 wide into the corner, and that's not going to be ideal. They can just about manage to hold it together, it seems, at this moment in time, trying to work out a way to go through, but Sam Ravel on the outside. Oh no! Everyone's going to be tipping over each other at this stage. Sam Ravel's just bundled away with it, and it's Josh Ladia who's gone around with someone else in the background as well. Run into troubles there in 13th position, so not ideal. It's Steve Smuts as well who's run into those troubles, so both of them in a world of hurt then. They will have to do the hard yards again. He's up to 3rd on the opening run, almost it seems. So how do you He's a number 12, the place where he started on the reverse grid. You look back and say possibly he needs to do that hard work again. Concern is he got damaged and I believe he will do so. Well, if they have damage, they could be in a world of trouble. They're 11th and 12th position at the moment. They'll have to do that work all over again. Kuti in 3rd, Ravindra in 4th. Raj Tula leads this race, but here is battle a little bit further behind. Swaraj Das looking at this from in front. Rishabh Banerjee and Jamie Shaw, and they're all going off in front. In fact, absolutely everybody running that wide line. Tesh Patel losing out. Shaw sends all to the outside contact as well as Thania goes through. Rishabh Banerjee pretty much getting shuffled on freight train. They're trying to deal with everything out there on circuit. Steve Smuts is now trying to work his way through. This is about just trying to find some elbow room to actually go out and drive the car, let alone trying to find places. There's not much coordination here, so trying to go through the back of the lunge down at the inside there at turn 11 and just about managing to jump now to 9th place. That's aggressive driving.
When you try to defend the body, they're trying to defend.
That was the reason why we saw that incident there. Garvin Loder's lost the place now to Kuti potentially now into 2nd position. He goes last flat, 140 flat there as he gets himself over the line, and they can see that's Ara Ravindra down the inside of Garvin Loder as well, up now into 3rd position. Loder running a little bit wide. Crucially, Ravindra is staying pretty much nose to nose with Amit Kuti in this one. Raj Tula will be maybe a different story. Work will have to be done to chase that one down in terms of the battles that we see on screen. But ultimately, everyone, this is about now just trying to settle down, find a rhythm, and crucially, drive in a certain style right now, Sophie, where those tyres are going to be the ones which are probably going to be saved the most in this sort of race. Garvin Loder down to 4th place, and now we'll be looking behind at the train of cars which are trying to swarm their way through Fania in 9th, looking at Jamie Shaw in front in 8th place.
Cars average is not one, but 5 positions. Looking at Navneet Kumar now trying to consolidate at number 6. Now, each of these cars, there we are, almost close. Now, the Roshan Kodari now coming in quite low off the front. And Swaraj, Yadav and Rishabh Banerjee is right behind them, just about 2 car lengths. Oshan Kodari trying to make up for the positions earlier again. Again, it's going to be a lot of homework. It's a fight back that we always talk about.
and under. He's trying to get this one down at the S's, and Jamie Shaw's got nothing for it. So Claudia holds on for the moment, but around the outside of the second half, Jamie Shaw's giving everything here. Claudia's got to work for it. It's across the beams, but Shaw managed to get back ahead with that run, and Claudia's trying to get the biggest run possible here in towards this opening next section. Amit Kuti, another fastest lap then of the race, with that one all working out quite nicely. But here again comes Claudia. He's got the inside now. Turn 2 here at the Curva Grande, and this is a comfortable move down the inside. How do you like it? Just like that, easily done, and up into 8th place then, into the first of the 2 Shiminis.
Well, I would have Jamie Shaw may not like that overtaking maneuver, but that was so beautifully done. He just managed to keep that pressure there. Now, Oshan Kotaria has driven the race of his life in the previous one. Can he just take that form into this one? So far, what I look around and what I see, what he's able to bring onto the track at the moment, I really like that. Now, and he just take that form a little further.
Right, Rao, 14th place, fan favourite, trying to find himself maybe an opportunity to jump forward and gain a couple places. A little bit of contact there, and that's not ideal, and they're trying to work it out. This is right in front of Steve Smuts, who's dropped now all the way back to 18th position here at this moment in time. We saw him on screen just a little while ago, but now Rohit Rao back in 15th here. It's known that Raghav is through into the 14th position, and these 5 are really starting to get a little bit dicey here, hoping that they're fighting for maybe just a couple of championship points at this moment.
It's somebody's rolled in the dice, and everyone, there's going to be changing of positions, contact. This race has everything: suspense, drama, wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper action, nose to engine. It's got everything. We've had cars slipping on to the tight corners again, 3 cars trying to enter a corner. So this race has got all the elements of what a good race is. Here we go again, one more time. Roy trying to make sure he gets a very, very strong, aggressive line, and somebody tries to take it on the outside. He's taking a wider line. Is he be able to hold it off again? He's actually has no space to even make that maneuver of an overtaking maneuver.
He's just lost the position, and as Rohit Rao down into 16th as they funnel their way through Curva Grande once again, and down the hill towards Shimini 1, the lowest point on the circuit. As you can see behind everyone diving through, Rao's overcooked that one by a country mile. He's gone so far off, he's in the snow at turn 4, and you thought with that much runoff area he wouldn't need to be going too far. He completely failed out of it. Then Lalic back wants to find places. He's trying to go through there 3 wide here as they try and make this run here into the Campagnano, and not going to find much. Back on the outside, well, it's going to be tough to hold it around there, but won't be able to. Stays in 16th position. There has been a change at the front of the field though. Amit Kuti is through on Raj Tula and has taken the race lead away. We haven't seen it on camera. Jabat gets a bump from behind, and that is the position pretty much going to be redressed back there. So Raj Tula's lost the place. Now Ara Ravindra's turn to try and find a way through.
Wow, this race has really come alive right from the word go, as Tej Patel now tries to consolidate versus Oshan Kotaria. Now, Tej Patel will hold him back for a bit as Aro Ravindra takes the battle for the fight to the second and third between him and Raj Tula. Aro Ravindra somehow moves into position number 2 only for a bit, and for Raj Tula just decides to get past him without any problem. He lost a little traction again. We were talking with the left graining on tires. It's already seeing now.
Yeah, absolutely. So now these drivers are starting to think about tyre preservation. Ara Ravindra is there in what is the 3rd position at the moment. Couldn't get through immediately on Raj Tula, but he's got to be aggressive and find a way through quickly. Otherwise, Kuti is just going to run away in the early stages. Side by side behind, that's Munjal Sablo and Navneet Kumar, and that is Navneet finding a way through then up into 5th position. And look at this, Tej Patel, Oshan Kotaria, now they're 2 wide, 2 deep. Work it out between yourselves, guys, because this is not going to be ideal. Thaddeus gone down the inside of pretty much all of them, and has he been able to hold it? Yes, he has, but there off the road is Navneet Kumar. He's put to the back, and I wonder if there was contact.
Oshan Kotaria up to number 5, but then this man is on fire. Can he really make this one of this race count right from the back? So the way it looks like, he's possibly playing way too aggressive, and I just hope tire graining, which he was talking to us about earlier, doesn't come back to bite him later.
I wonder if he's driving this aggressively to try and pit and then drive aggressively again. There's Tej Patel on the brakes. He's in 8th place now. because Navneet has found a way through. He's done well. The driver in 6th place is Munjal Savla. We've seen him have a little bit of a very tentative start to this race. We had a chance to chat with him. Here's what he had to say.
I am Munjal Savla, firstly, and I'm 32 years old. So I have been racing for quite some time, since probably I was in high school. Started off with karting, and then joined engineering. Kind of dropped off from the racing scene, and then came back into the first Volkswagen Polo Cup in 2010. Did 3 years of racing at the national level. Had a good time. Being a rookie, had a steep learning curve, but eventually ended up with a few race wins and made some lovely friends, and overall was a great learning experience. Since then, I haven't really raced. Uh, at a professional level, I'm an engineer and now a management consultant. I'm into renewable energy and work in that space.
Well, Munjal has to be careful here in 6th place. Behind him is Navneet in 7th, wanting to find a way to get through and gain another position. Tula has now lost the place to Ara Ravindra, so the championship 1st and 2nd are 1 and 2 at this moment in time. Kuti will have a 40-point lead in the championship if things stay as they are at the moment. Kapadia in 5th and Steve Smuts in 13th position. Those are those 3rd and 4th in the championship right now. Navneet can't find a way through at the very, very tricky hairpin out on track, the Tornatino, so he has to play that waiting game again. This is a tough final sector to go and make moves, because you have to be so sure of yourself, Solomon, that you can make it happen.
Jake, I was just looking at the way Tej Patel was trying to take that corner. He was just sticking onto his racing line. Clearly, if you're looking at the way he's driving right now, he's conserving his tyres there. But the folks ahead of him, Navneet Kumar, Munjal Savla, you would see them coming under the grips of possibly being overtaken sometime later, because the moment I get a feeling that they're way too aggressive on a corner, not trying to conserve tyres here, which is going to be very critical. Steve Smuts on the run again. I hope he's able to make up positions as the race comes by.
I certainly hope so as well, as Smuts at the moment in 13th position will be wanting to try and get through and try and find himself that place or extra places. Kapadia has made his way through on Garvit Loader up into now 4th position in this race. What a drive he's having back through the field after contact at the Tornatino. So Kapadia through on Garvit Loader, and that would have been the run to turn 7. He managed to pick that one off. Just in front of him is Raj Tula, so he's not a million miles away from those leading two, Kuti and Ravindra. He has time to gain those places. When you've got Steve Smuts down there in 12th position, who's already had to use both of his drop rounds over the course of this season, that is a lifeline for Kapadia, because he knows he's picking up big points right here, right now, as he stands.
So, as he got past Garvit Loader in position number 5, I was just looking at Ocean Kutaria, the kind of lines that he's very aggressive there. In fact, he was able to make most number of places, most number of ground, especially on the slower corners. That is between turn 9 to 11. And as he's looking at him right now, Ocean Kutaria has about 5 car lengths ahead of him to catch up to Raj Tula, and Raj Tula is already feeling the pressure.
See how aggressively Oshan is having to race, having to battle, having to make everything work out for him at this stage, as we find ourselves in a really strong position here to see Kapadia maybe make a few more places, as Navneet is through on Munjal Savla now up into 7th position, but Tej Patel has got both of them in that battle. So Patel now up into 6th place and is past both of those drivers. There may have been a bit of contact between them, not too sure. Swaraj Dav now is up into 7th because of that, so Munjal with work to do, trying to get past Yadav again, and can he find himself a chance on the inside here as they come up to the Compagnano? And the answer is no, but crucially they are still in range, and this fiddly sector might be a place where you start finding moves. Turn 8 has been a key place for dives down the inside.
Well, it's a three-way fight between the Munjal, Navneet and Aditya Pawar. Jake, you were earlier talking about this is a game where you got to really be very patient. Impatience is really not going to take it. You got to also have a time for the measured risk. Now, Munjal Savla tries to look on the inside, keeps the racing line without any problem. Swaraj Yadav and other people tries to chase him and stay with him, but this means Amit Kuti is still in the front, and Arurapna chasing him down. Raj Tula stays at number 3 at the moment.
Certainly does, but look at this, they're all starting to form up behind. You've got Aditya Pawar, Rishabh Banerjee is there, Steve Smuts in the background, 12th position. He'll want to get through all of these drivers, PD and Q at this stage, as these drivers all scrap it out. There is Rishabh, he had a really strong run of things in the racing earlier on today, 4th position, just behind that driver behind him, Steve Smuts. I think both of those drivers want to get through, and there's a move trying to happen. Navneet through on Munjal Savla, trying, that is, through the next section of road. There is Oshan Kathadia in 3rd position, and look at the work that's being done. He is through on Raj Tula, and Tula will be looking back at Garvit Loda, who is there in what is 5th position. These are all important battles right now. They try and work out how to move forward in this race. We're going to step aside for one moment here with Volkswagen Motorsports India here in the VW VRC. We'll be back with more after this.
Power is, you only understand it when you feel it, you know?
Volkswagen.
Well, at the moment, Munjal Savla is trying everything he can to hold those drivers behind us. There is Rishabh Banerjee down the inside. Sorry, no, Steve Smuts down the inside. He's absolutely flying at the moment. Wait 10 seconds for an advert, and he's there now in 11th position, trying to get 10th away from Aditya Pawar, who he was fighting with in the race earlier on today, trying around the outside, and suddenly, oh, hello, I'm Rishabh Banerjee down the inside.
Well, they've really been exchanging a lot of positions in the kind of racing that they've been having for the last couple of times now. Steve Smart back again onto number 11, but you get a feeling that Navneet Kumar and Munjal Savla holding a train of cars behind them now, and that's where Steve Smart is possibly looking at his tires and saying, this is going to eat my tires, this is going to eat the life out of my tires. He's possibly got to look at a counter strategy. Rather than just trying to wait it out right now. He possibly understand that he needs to get past at least Navneet Kumar and Munjal Savla 89 respectively.
Well, there is Swaraj Yadav in 7th, under pressure. Navneet Kumar was looking every which way for the Curva Grande to be the place. He can't find that. Thinking about maybe the Shaminis. Nope, not going to get that one then on the brakes, but is hoping that maybe a driver like Swaraj Yadav does run wide. And this is going to open up opportunity here on this next straight as they battle on here to the Campagnano. Here, turn 7 out on track. Can Swaraj Yadav defend this position then against Navneet Kumar here as he moves to the inside? He's not got much to do with, but he's on the brakes, and that's just the case of Navneet trying to get in the mirror and scaring Swaraj Yadav off the road once again.
Well, he didn't get scared there, but all that he's doing right now is bunching up the field there. In fact, there's not 3, but there's about 5 to 6 cars behind him. And this means there's going to be still a very close tussle. And every time a slow corner comes in, you would find them just stretching their arms a little bit just to cover that corner there again. Munjal Savla is getting a little impatient, and so is Steve Smart. Jamie Shaw close on at the moment behind Rishabh Banerjee. Aditya Pawar moves into position number 10, courtesy that inside move there. Steve Smart still looking to get past there.
Yeah, but couldn't manage it then on Aditya Pawar, who holds on to that 10th place. And he was thinking it was a little bit easy in that opening race of the night here tonight, where he thought that he had the chance to go and make this happen. Oh, yes, to get out of it there through the corner, because he was going to run into the back then of one Mr. Aditya Pawar. That allows Rishabh Banerjee the move through and gains that extra place at this stage. As things stand, it is in this one a very, very interesting battle in this race overall. Amit Kuti at the halfway stage leads with Aru Ravindra second and Oshan Kathadia in 3rd, but it's worth noting Kathadia has used a lot of tyre to get to where he is at this moment. Raj Tula and Garvit Loda 4th and 5th, and on cue they've just changed positions. Garvit Loda is through then on Raj Tula and has picked that one up on the run out of the second Shamini corner and through towards the Campagnano turn number 7. This is an important battle here from these drivers. They have been the ones who started at the front of the field, Solomon, but crucially those drivers behind have been fighting so hard, and they're still doing so right now, that they don't really have anything to really worry about.
Well, after the race, I do know that Munjal Savla and Aditya Pawar will be here given quite a earful, because they've been holding the back for a very long time, and it can get a very annoying because you don't have that space. You are not able to show your skill when you're able to get a little bit of a straight there. Munjal Sabla again getting onto your screens. Well, that was close as well. He's defending. He's very defending very well. But then credit to him, he's actually even slowing down the Steve Smart is now being classified as number 20. Not sure what happened there.
Retirement. Oh, they're three wide almost here. Oh, there's the contact. Rishad Banerjee trying to go down the inside. It's Navneet Kumar who pays the price, I think, for that little move then. So we'll be dropping way down the order. Sorry, no, it's Swarajid Dav who has gone down the order there with that little bit of contact. Then with that, as he dropped way down the order, someone got a big hit going through that corner. It did not work out well for them as they were fighting through. Three wide into the S is tough. At the best of times, normally you struggle to even get too wide. But Navneet Kumar now under pressure. This is Jamie Shaw wanting it.
So then, courtesy a little bit of a contact. Now the gap has just winded a little bit. Now this is what Aditya Pawar and Navneet Kumar were looking at now. They can break away from this pack, and if they can break away in the next 3 or 4 minutes, in the next 2 or 3 laps, they could actually realistically target at least 6th or 7th position. Rishabh Banerjee needs to make sure good fight. You're looking at the gap that is coming up. Oshan Kotaria has over 10 seconds to catch up with Amit Kuti. We can ride this off Amit Kuti this race win, but then it's too early. We still got 18 minutes to go.
It was Munjal Sabla who got the hit. That's why he's down in 15th position right now. Kumar running wide, and that's going to allow Jamie Shaw the chance to think of the inside here at turn number 9. Up the hill, trying to get things done at the Trincea, or the Trincea. It's not going to work. But now you've got Navneet trying everything to... Oh, there's the contact. Navneet just about holding on to things at the moment as they go on the brakes into the hairpin. He holds on to place, and all of a sudden there's Raghav trying to find a way through into the top 10, and he does so with a nice push forward that gives exactly what's needed. You can see the gaps on screen right now. Kuti has moved out to about a nearly 7-second lead at this moment in time. He has done everything right.
I should say that Navneet really handled and controlled the car at the end, because the car looked like on a little swerve there, uncontrollable, but then he did well to control it and bring it back and still get on with it. Aditya Pawar will kind of now know that he's got to just pull away from Navneet Kumar, because if Navneet Kumar and Raghav and Jamie Shaw close enough, the train begins one more time.
Exactly, and it's that train which really does come into play, and you need to learn and understand how that sort of small train could be really much put into play and into place. If you get yourself in a train, you can maybe sometimes work together to close down, otherwise you'll be in a different place. Now this is Ara Ravindra here at this stage. He's having a pretty solid run of things at the moment, but we actually got a chance to speak to another driver out here today. I don't think he's here, I don't think he's having a good run, Pratik Sonawana, and this is what he had to say.
My name is Pratik Sonavne, and thank you for the interview. It's such a great feeling to be a part of the Volkswagen's Virtual Racing Championship in 2020. This is my first time I'm racing virtually. In fact, just getting into the virtual racing scene in the past, say about a month or so, when the VRC selection started. And it's been a great opportunity. It's been a great learning experience. And overall, I'm really glad that I'm a part of the VRC. I made it to the final 28 drivers grid, and now looking forward to the rest of the championship.
We've been keeping an eye on a lot of these battles here. It's the mid-pack where it's starting to all form up. Navneet now in 9th position, still holding off the likes of Raghav and Jamie Shaw, 10th and 11th in this field at the moment. But now you get into the critical numbers of this race, Solomon. This is where the tyres start to really hurt.
Jack, you were talking about when you were stuck in the train, what is it that you do? Now, if the train really goes on for a little bit...
Oh no, that's Shaw. Shaw going straight on, patches snow on the tyres, and even at the best of the times, grass on the tyres when your brakes tough. When you got snow, you got nothing.
I've just been told Steve Smut had got disconnected because of connection issues. So the VPNs are back again. He's not going to like that again. But Jamie Shaw is still trying to fight it out at number 11. Be a little bit careful when you are trying to get onto the exterior of that track. going to the limits again, you would definitely want to go a little easy on the brakes there.
Very much so, but just a little bit too careless, and fortunately managed to keep it going there. And behind that, there's Swaraj Yadav and Siddharth Satyan, 13th, 14th and 15th is Munjar Savla trying to get back into this race after that heavy contact at the S's section, which didn't really help too much. Satyan taking the big wide line, trying to get on through, but is not able to at this stage, and will definitely want to be trying to pick that up, and is going to take the banked road there on the snow. It's going to be very useful, the fact that you're going to be sliding back down onto the circuit then to get back going again, and that costed quite a bit of time for Munjar Savla, now back in 15th position still, but a little bit further away in terms of how this race is going. But what is crucial now is that you just keep an eye out on those gaps. Kuti just managing the gap at the front. Roshan Kapadia there, 15 seconds off the pace then of Amit Kuti at the moment. Nothing more that he can do. And those top three, well, it's been a case of Kapadia's done as much as he can, but those top two, they gained places early. Third and fourth by the end of lap one. And now Raj Tula are under pressure here because this is Tej Patel wanting into the top five.
Let's also watch out for Aro Ravindra because he is still conserving his tires. I hope that the strategy that he's actually put in, and he will be looking to conserve his tires and maybe look out for the last sprint or the last drag towards the last 7-8 minutes to bring it down from 3 seconds to under 1 second. So that'll be very interesting. But Tej Patel versus Raj Tula, good fight indeed.
It's worth noting that Amit Kuti, after the end of that first race in the interview that we had with him, he definitely was looking at the replay, seeing what he could do to maybe find improvements or maybe look at the tyres and find something else. Now here's Patel looking at the Tornatino maybe. He's not close enough yet on the inside. That's a wide line by Raj Tula, who overshots himself. He gets just enough of a run then on the exit that he doesn't need to be too concerned with that sort of move. But crucially, you look at Raj Tula now, there's Tej Patel, it's tucked up underneath, going to look for the inside maybe at the Roma corner, the final corner on circuit. Answer to that one is no, but the big wide line's taken again, which means you can sneak away down the inside of that banked final corner and maybe attack the Curva Grande. Here comes the opportunity then. Raj Tula on the outside now for turn two. Inside now for Tej Patel, who's going to try and assert his authority, and just like that, he's through and he's up the place.
Now this is one of those instances where Raj Tula possibly had a wider turn, was able to get a faster exit and still comes behind Tej Patel. So this is what motorsports does to you. This is what sim racing does to you. You've got to wait for that space to just make sure you're able to get ahead. Used a little slipstream wonderfully well. So Tej Patel, now can he go and get behind Garvin Loda for the fight for the fourth and the fifth? That'll be pretty interesting. He's already stretching his lead over Raj Tula at the moment.
But crucially, Garvin Loda has just gittled on down the road. There he is right now, and just missing the apex slightly there, running wide through turn number 8, and that's the gap that he's got. He's got about 6 seconds to hold on in the last about 11 and a half minutes of this race, and a little bit more added on top of that. But every position seems to matter, and with Steve Smuts out with disconnection issues, that's a free pass for Oshan Kathadia to jump up to third place in the championship with that sort of result. And crucially, if there was any hope that Steve Smuts was going to come in and try and take some championship points away from those top two, that's not happening anymore. Kathadia is now definitely going to be the one who is hoping that third place in the championship is his cemented, and he can maybe chase down Kuti and Ravindra.
Now, I was just wondering when we were talking, Jake, would he come into the pit lane and basically come out again? Now, if I was Oshan, I wouldn't, because I would take the result the way it comes in, because you still got a little over 10 minutes to go, and you have Aro and Amit Kuti way ahead of you. You may not be able to challenge them, then you can finish as close as possible. Amit Kuti and Aro Ravindra will be very interesting to see what is the gap right now. Remember, initially it was between 6 to 7. As it come down under 5, we're going to be checking that out in soon.
Certainly will, but I think Ravindra's got a lot of work to do, and he's hoping that Amit Kuti's tyres fall into a couple of troubles. It looks like, from this angle, it looks around 6 seconds again for Amit Kuti. He's just keeping a margin. He built the gap early, and they can see it on screen. It's just fluctuating in the way that timing is scored here on Assetto Corsa. It does fluctuate up and down depending on where you're braking. I think it's done by meterage more rather than abject time. So for that, it's going to be a lot closer here in this section, but it will just extend out once again. Worth keeping an eye out that Oshan Kvadia isn't a million miles away here in this. He is closing down in as here is Lalic back, fighting it out for 12th place, and he's on the brakes and he just about holds it then for the time being. We'll step aside for the final time, final 10 minutes, coming back to you for the VW VRC after this.
Power. You only understand it when you feel it, you know? And when you do, trust me, you'll know why we live for these nights.
Volkswagen.
Well, here's the power to play for Siddharth Satyan, who is currently scrapping out with Swaraj Dab down at the inside of the final corner. A little bit of a bump given there to Satyan there, as now the push comes in from Swaraj Dab. He wants to find a way through, get himself back into that 13th position and maybe pick up a couple of points. He'll find about 10 of them there finishing in that sort of position. So we'll see what Yadav is going to be finding here, but he just doesn't have the run here in the opening section. Remember, Yadav's been here, there and everywhere over the course of this field. And look at that, defence to offence here as Satyan thought about the inside and then suddenly gets caught up on the inside of the corner. Yadav runs into the back, and that will be a little bit of damage to the front.
Well, we've been having a very keen eye, and the stewards will also have a very keen eye. Remember, the fight between the 7th all the way up to the 14th and 15th will be really been reported back and forth. A couple of cars touching each other, contact again. You just got to limit the damage and try and see how we're going to move on. Siddharth Satyan now slowing down just a bit. Just a bit. I thought he didn't have any traction moving into that on the right-hander as well. How does he do it this time around? Munjan Savla tried to closing up a little bit. Remember, the top 12 is very crucial as they take you into the points.
They do take you into the points, but they take you into good points. The points do stretch down outside the top 15. There's someone off there on the other side of the circuit then just struggling a little bit, it looked like for the moment. So that's going to be a place dropped there by someone in around 8th, 9th place, it seems, at this moment. But there is Swaraj Yadav in 15th position now. He's dropped the place and now he's got more work to be done to try and get himself back through. And I think that damage is quite heavy, the way that he's not being able to close down to the likes of those in front. So we'll keep that an eye on. There's Aditya Pawar in 7th position, and that battle starting to stretch itself back to 8th and 9th position. So Navneet Kumar's going to be on the back of this one in 9th place. But there is Raj Tula, who's probably the one who had the off and is now down into the 8th place.
Hammer time it is. Let's rewind the previous race we had earlier in the evening. We had a 4 finish where Oshan Kvadia really surprised Amit Puri. Are we going to see something like that? May or may not be, but we're going to see a very close in action for the fight for the 5th all the way up to the 8th position. Navneet Kumar taking the battle for the fight, 9th position now. As we're looking at how is the gap between Arul Ravindra, it is close but not close enough. He moves out to number 8. Moving on inside, very good move indeed. Can he take on the fight for the 7th?
Well, that's what we're going to have to be looking out for. Navneet Kumar gets through, gains the place and moves to the 8th position, but did so on the mistake of Raj Tula, who I think is struggling quite a bit now on those tyres and will be running on rims, so to speak, trying to get himself over to the line and just finish off this race. But this has really been one of those races where the top drivers broke away early. We haven't seen much of them ever since that point, but one driver we did have a chance to maybe have a very quick chat with is currently involved in a 3-car scrap with Siddharth Satyan and Munjal Savla. It's Swaraj Yadav, and this is what he had to say.
Hi, I'm Swaraj Yadav from Navi Mumbai, and I had always had interest in cars mainly. And for the first time I saw a race was, I think, 2016 British Grand Prix. Like, I was surfing through channels. I think I was watching a cricket match, and I was surfing through channels because of the ad. So I just watched some cars, F1 cars. I really didn't know anything about F1 in 2016. So I just watched it, and it was a damp race. So everyone was sliding around. I think Fernando Alonso went off in the first corner and almost hit the barrier, and it was like quite exciting. And then the next race I watched was Brazil 2016, so which was a very very exciting race. So I got hooked up.
This is where battles get dicey. They're all fighting for 12th position here in this race, and some strong points on the board as well. Suarez Yadab thinking about Lalit Shabak and Munjal Sabla here, who are all trying to find some important points. Lalit Shabak especially, who has been struggling in this championship so far for a consistent point haul, and this could be the chance that he gets to really showcase what he's got. But Yadav's going to go straight on, runs into the side there of Munjal Sabla. He locked the rears up. The back stepped away. There's not much you can do about that one. It all ends in tears.
And somebody like Siddharth just takes away that position as well. Now, Swaraj Yadav was way too late on that brakes again. Now, everybody possibly trying to learn a lesson out of Oshan Kotario, because who's been almost doing very well on late braking there. Lalit now consolidating on 13. Oshan Kotaria, that's the man that we were talking about, who really made on the offensive. There is a gap, but I'm not too sure if it really go up to the checker flag on a photo finish.
Well, there is a gap, but it's a big gap there for Oshan Katadia, and he knows that it's going to be hard work if he gets up to that driver just in front in second position there of Ara Ravindra, whose tyres are starting to just let go a little bit here. That gap around 2 seconds that they have to deal with at this stage. So 2 seconds in about 4 minutes, that's going to be a tall order, no matter who you are, where you come from. There's Raj Tula, who's now all the way back in 10th place. He's lost out to Navni. That was Raghav Budaraja running wide, trying to find a way through. Wasn't able to find it, so Tula back to 9th. But now Raghav with a renewed confidence here on this attack here to the fantastic Campagnano corner here of turn number 7. On the brakes you go, but Raj Tula trying to just keep it on the island here. Does well for the moment, but again, just has no grip to turn in.
I'm just wondering, I mean, that was not the racing line. You should have kept it very close to the curbs there again. Because Raghav Budraj said, thank you very much. You go wide, I take the inside line. Now, credit to the readers here again. Amit Kuti did see Arun Ravindra coming in. He never let off. And as we see Raj Tula and versus Raghav still fighting out for the 9th, 10th, Raj Tula stays at number 10 for a very brief moment. And he's going to see Raghav run away into the distance.
Certainly is. It's almost like Raj Tula here. He's just trying to take his natural braking line if he has a nice set of tyres, and because there's no grip, the vehicle's just got no stopping distance to it. That's what it looks like from my eyes at this stage as this all continues. James Shaw in the background might just be able to sneak a top 10 in the final couple of minutes then of this race. Through the final corner, they come along with Roma, and 2 laps they have. Figure all of this out. There is Munjal Sabla in 12th place, and will be trying to get a good run forward to try and really attack in the final stages, but he's a ways away as Lalit Shabak here holding on for 13th. Here comes Siddharth Satyan.
As we go and come around, I was just thinking about Siddharth Satyan trying to be a little aggressive, goes on the inside, goes on the outside. I thought that was too many a move for one corner. Yes, this is the person we could possibly take the inside line again. Siddharth Satyan has the inside line again. The move doesn't pay off.
No, doesn't work, but he's got time on the horizon. Now, how is that battle 2nd and 3rd looking? We know that Kavadia needs to try and close down at this stage, but Satyan here in 14th is doing okay. Look at the gap, it's a lot closer than it was. So with 1 lap to go, Kavadia is probably only going to get one opportunity to try and get through on Ara Ravindra for 2nd place, but this is now going to be a tall order. He's brought the gap down by a second. You can see 2 puffs of smoke. They're 2 separate locks of the front right tyre there for Ara Ravindra as he starts the final lap, being led by Amit Kuti, the championship leader, who's looking like he's going to be able to extend his gap by 40 points, maybe to 44, if he can get Oshan Kavadia through into 2nd place. That gap is looking a little bit large at the moment, but it's this middle sector to final sector where we start seeing things fall away from Ravindra, who doesn't have tyres compared to Kapadia. Here's the charge now as they go up the hill, but again, it looks a little bit too far at this stage for Kapadia to really close down that gap and really showcase what he's got as they enter the final 40 seconds of this race. They head towards turn 7 now, and look at that again, locking hard on the inside there. Goes one Mr. Ara Ravindra. He's trying to get the last bit of life out of the tyres. They know they've got no more laps remaining here in this race. They know it's all about survival of the fittest. here, and look at how much Oshan Kathadia is able to close under braking there at turn 8 and into this final sector. He is going to be right on the back of Ara Ravindra, trying to find a way through as he has been saving those tyres so well. We look at Amit Kuti coming through this very, very difficult hairpin section. There's the battle behind. Kathadia looking every which way. Which way are you going to go? Outside line, it's going to have to be looking at this stage to try and pick this up. Get a run for the outside. He tries it again. He did it last time. But here is Amit Kuti rounding the final corner. And this will be a very sweet victory because he knows he has almost a race advantage now as he comes to the line and takes round 9 here at Vayalunga. Ara Ravindra will do just enough to hold on. I'm sure it'll be a drag race to the line. Both will be on the curves as much as possible. And look at this, they go. How close to the line? Kathadia, oh, it was close. I'm not sure who had that.
Aaron Ravindra just possibly got ahead with the skin of his teeth there. That was close, but really, really close. Oshan Kotaria really took it to the wire there. Garvit Lodha brings in the car home at number 4. Tej Patel should bring it at number 5, and he does.
Yeah, he does. Great run from Tej Patel to finish in 5th place. Rishabh, a great drive into 6th as well. And we're starting to see these drivers try and make progress. Munjal Savla, he's going to take the top 10, it seems. Come the end of that one, Navni getting close, but not close enough. But those drivers up and down the order, they really gave a race.
Well, they really brought the race alive with Raghav, Munjal, Jamie Shaw earlier on as well. Raj Tula gave in a little as well. Of course, he went out for a very brief moment. Swaraj Yadav wasn't think of suspense and all the action, and he's done well for himself. But then he will look back and say possibly he needs to be a little conserve his gripping, especially on the tighter corners.
Absolutely, and we get ourselves a little bit of a look in how things are confirmed. Then it seems like Amit Kuti does take up the win, then puts another 6 points on the board against Ara Ravindra, who finishes in 2nd. Oshan Kathadia is 3rd. He tried everything, but I don't think he just got there. Garvit Lodha 4th, and Tej Patel in 5th. Rishabh Banji will get 6th with Aditya Pawar 7th, and Navneet Kumar in 8th. Then it's Raghav in 9th, Munjal Savla in 10th, and then Jamie Shaw just on the outside looking in. Raj Tula, Siddharth Satyan, Lalit Shabak, and Swaraj Yadav make up the top 15 here in this battle that we have going on. What we are going to be able to do for you is get yourself some very quick post-race interviews. After that, we'll pick up the driver who finished in 2nd position. First and foremost, it's Ara Ravindra. Arrow, that was a little bit too close for comfort at the end. Did the tyres just let go?
Yeah, that was way too close for comfort. I mean, I don't know what it is, my setup or my driving, but I'm eating up tires like way too quickly. I'm just glad I finished 2nd.
You were trying to limit the damage, and you did, Aro. So I know we've been talking about it. You're not a big fan of the reverse grid, but then you came along very well at the start.
Yeah, I mean, still, I would have preferred, first place would have been better, but the way this weekend is going, I'm glad with 2nd, and yeah, I just want to move on from this weekend.
Well, I'm not surprised knowing the fact that you're now, without drop rounds included, about 40 points back here. Vayalunga has not been quite nice to you at the moment. So how do you bounce back and respond from a round like this where you come into it maybe only 20 points back and you've seen that lead double over the course of the 3 races that we've had?
It's going to be difficult for sure, but one thing I've learned in racing is to never give up. Anything can happen. So even in the remaining races, I'm going to give it my all and hope for the best.
Well, the floor is yours here. Arrow, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank VW for organizing this amazing series. It's a lot of fun.
No worries at all. Arrow Ravindra there picking up 2nd position here today. Amit Kuti gets the race win. And, well, Amit, that was a case of lap 1 doing exactly what you need to. 3rd place after the opening lap. And then from there, just pick them off one at a time and conserve from there.
He said it was lucky for me in the start, and once everyone else kind of took each other out, I found myself in 3rd place. And then it was just a matter of catching up to the guys in front. As I did set the fastest lap and just overtake them. And after that, I think Arrow had damage, or I don't know what happened, but he was quite slow at the end. Even Oshan was closing up to him, but it was the perfect race I could have asked for.
So rewind about 15 minutes back, and you could possibly see Aro Ravindra on a rearview mirror. You were consciously trying to keep your lap timings so that he doesn't close in. Could you take me on to that strategy as well?
Yeah, I think Aro, according to my timings, he was trying for the fastest lap. He even tried it thrice, I think. So his lap times were just on and off. So he had a good lap, and then he had to save his cars. But I just wanted to try and save my tires and just do consistent lap times. I think around low 40s, and I did that. And at the end, although there was a bit of drop off, I think around a second in lap time, uh, Arrow had lost quite a bit of time, so there was a lot of breathing space for me. So it was all good at the end.
Let's talk about that break, because you had a 20-minute break there or thereabouts between the two races that you had here today. And I noticed that coming out to the end of that opening race that you had yourself a little bit of a look back at the race that you just had and thought about maybe a few options that you had moving forward. What was that like, just using that time constructively, and how much did that help you just to look back at that race going into round 9?
Well, to be honest, I didn't really think about the race. I was just a bit frustrated that I didn't defend, and after that, yeah, I just wanted to forget about it and move on. And I just took a little break and just listened to some songs. Really.
Well, the floor is yours here, Amit. Shout out sponsors, anyone who likes to get it done for you.
Yep. I'd like to thank Volkswagen Motorsport and IRE Sports and Raymond and Saurav as well for giving this opportunity to me and the others as well. So looking good for so far.
Well, Norris at all there for Amit Kuti. He extends his gap in the championship and can be quite happy about it. Third place would go to Oshan Kathadia. Oshan, don't you just wish that start line was about 50 meters back?
Yes, I totally wish that. I just timed everything to perfection, at least the tire wear and everything. But yeah, it was just unfortunate that Arrow had a little bit more curves than me. So yeah, but yeah, it made it exciting for y'all, I think.
Oh, it did. It did. And I was just wondering what a fight back race it was. One after the other, you were mapping your leads, you were mapping your overtaking maneuver. Did you ever think that you possibly had a outside chance to catch up with Amit Koti? I know it was close with Aro, but how about Amit Koti?
Maybe 10 more minutes, and possibly I might have. I think Amit had also backed off because his tires were gone, but my tires were really good. So I was still doing 1 minute 40 zeros, and yeah, I think I could, if with that pace, I could have maintained a possible fight. But yeah, Amit was a bit too far for me after the crash.
Well, let's talk about that crash. Of course, the Tornatino is probably the tightest corner in the championship this season. It's notorious for that sort of incident, and not only yourself, but Steve Smuts gets caught up in it as well. So you look at that sort of thing happening, and you realise that you and your main championship rival are both down the order, both have to try and make places. Was that one of the reasons why you went very aggressive through the field?
No, it was just that I saw Steve right behind me after the crash. I don't know what happened to him, but I just saw Steve behind me, and then I was like, "Yeah, I have to push now." And when the tires are new, only then you can push hard. So after I was done overtaking, I think third car. So I was third by then. Yeah, my tires were a bit overheated, so I had to kind of back off, and that's when Arrow also opened up a 4 second extra lead on me. So the lead was, I think, about 8 seconds, and then I started closing it down after the tires came in again.
Well, a third place finish for you. You now cement yourself third in the championship right now. Before we let you go, shout out to sponsors or anyone you'd like to thank.
Oh, I think it should be everyone, right from not only sponsors, but I think the spectators and all the organizing team in the background, and y'all commentating. It's super exciting. I always enjoy listening to the replay again of the race once it's done. Thank
Well,
you
there you
so
have.
much for that.
No worries at all. Shankatadi at third place overall. If we get the chance, we're going to try and grab a quick word with Garvit Loader. Garvit, do we have a copy of you, buddy? Answer to that is going to be no. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to grab Garvik Loader. We will try here and maybe get that going again, or maybe we got the opportunity to talk to Tej Patel as another option. Tej, P5, a very, very quiet and conservative drive where you just let the tyres come into their own operating range and the race just happened around you, buddy.
Yeah, that's right. I was really struggling towards the end with the tires, but like somehow managed to keep it on track.
Your finish would be credited to one aspect, lot of patience, where you were very, very patient in order to get your moves in.
Yeah, that's right. I was trying to keep myself on the track. Like even I was chasing down Gurvit, and we both kind of had the same delta. So like, yeah, I just had to be patient and not mess up.
And well, now we need to talk about this championship battle for fifth place because it seems like every round we go to, it seems like someone else seemingly has the formula that gives them the big points. And in reverse grids like these, this is where you tend to see those bigger points come into play. How important is 33 points to you today?
Obviously, it's really important, but let's see how the remaining three races go ahead, and that's going to decide the final championship position.
Well, before we let you go here, Tej, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
No, I don't think so.
Nobody to thank, but fifth place, nevertheless, is always a very important result. We'll try one last time. Garvit, are you there, buddy?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely fantastic. So, Garvit, fourth place today. You started on the front row of the grid, and everyone behind you seemingly ran into troubles or got themselves into their own battles, and that just gave you maybe a lot of license to score some big points today.
Yeah, I nearly avoided a first lap incident and then let the faster guys on my own race.
Garvit, can you hear us?
Yeah,
Okay, Garvit, quick question. In terms of your race pace, in terms of your tire management, how did you manage so far?
my management was not good at the end. I was quite losing a and Tej was.
Seems that we're just getting a little bit of intermittent cutting in and out, but Garvit Loader there did manage to get fourth position come the end of what we had here today. Some wonderful racing up and down the order, but some more championship action will be happening a couple of weeks from now. You definitely want to try and check that out. From everyone who's been making that work and making things happen here in the Volkswagen Virtual Racing Championship here with Volkswagen Motorsports India. Of course, a massive thanks has to go, of course, to the likes of Volkswagen themselves, MRF, the Venky's Group, and NECC, the National Egg Coordination Committee, as well, for putting on an event like this and bringing sorts of sim racing to the masses, so to speak. From Solomon Paras and myself, Jake Sperry, this has been a very, very tough battle here today where a lot of drivers have given themselves opportunities up and down to hope that they've got exactly what it takes. Over the three races, we had three different winners, but crucially, Amit Kuti is walking away with big championship aspirations. He's got himself 40 odd points and a bit more to play with as he moves on to the next round. And of course, it's that next round which becomes the big focus point.